You don't look like Viktor. Bam, we're live.
Oh, no, I don't think I am Viktor.
There he is.
This is me.
Antonia.
This is me.
Antonia.
This is me. That's nice.
What country are you guys in?
Sweden.
That's one of those countries that when we fly there from the States, I don't even think we, at least when I was there, I think I visited, that's where Mads lives, right?
Yeah.
I think I visited there and, oh, that's cool. Someone's going to be squatting in the background. God,
She's pressing.
I hope there's an epic fail.
He hopes there's an epic fail. She hopes there's not. I told her she's got to be quiet putting the bar down.
No, she doesn't. No,
we're in Sevan's world now.
No. She'd tell her be as loud as she can.
Be as loud as you can, he says.
Bringing some action.
That's right.
I think when I flew there, I didn't even need a passport. I think basically you just walk through. There wasn't even customs for Americans. Is that really? Country? One of those countries up there. One of those guys are good guys.
Yeah.
Are you guys good
it's
guys?
Not like in the States, but we have customs, but it's not. If you compare it to the US, it's no custom.
Yeah, they don't diddle you like they do in the States.
Oh no.
No, basically you get you can choose between two lines. Like you have something to declare, then they trust you to go in and declare that, and otherwise you can just go through.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah, they trust you guys.
And it's Mads' wife who owns the gym that you guys train at.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. Man, what a small world.
Yeah, they are really good guys, Mads and Jenny.
And they've had that gym for how long?
Ooh, I don't know, what is it now? Like
maybe 12, 13 years.
Yeah, a long time.
Oh wow.
Do you guys work there or you guys just train there?
I work there as well. I coach competition classes there. So like a little bit of a higher level class. So we offer different, types of classes for different types of members, obviously. So yeah, I do.
Viktor, is there any part of you that wishes that you wouldn't have made that post, that you could go back and just ignore the whole thing? No. Because we could switch the podcast and pivot, and I could ask you about other stuff if you want.
I mean, I think that if I knew that I was doing something wrong, I would probably not post it. But since we know that we have done everything right, I just wanted people to know the story.
And when you say that you've done everything right, do you think that just to start off here, do you think HQ has done everything right also?
No.
Okay, so it's not too. You think that maybe they've done, not maybe, you suspect, that they've done something wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. And Antonia, are you on that page also?
I mean, definitely. I mean, I think the basic problem here is that we're looking very differently on the rule book this year. So from our perspective, we're being judged by the 2018 rule book, and looking at the 2022 rule book, that's a completely different story. So as I've been on a team before, I knew that 2018, it was required to take that kind of photo. And looking at that rule book, that was very clear. And now looking at the rule book from 2022, it was not a requirement. So we basically looked at, we have a gym attendance system. So when we saw that could be offered as proof, we saw that could be enough. And then, of course, we had pictures and everything from sessions that we've done, but not from each and every session, because that was not required. So for us, we've done basically what the rule book says. And I mean, as many people have mentioned, we're a pretty professional team. So we looked through the rule book from the beginning just to make sure that we all knew that we could commit to doing everything right. And for us, it feels a little bit like CrossFit is now changing the rules for us. So now we need to provide proof that we did not know that we needed to have. And if we would have known that, we would have taken those types of pictures. But now we're getting no chance to do so.
Two questions.
Hiller, just so you know, when you're not talking, I mute you, but not because of the weightlifting, but because of the birds. So.
Oh, okay. I'll kill the birds.
No, you're good. No, you're good. You can. It's not bad.
I don't like birds anyway. Birds are the worst. They're chirping in the background. They're gone. There they go.
Okay. You scared them away?
No, I closed the garage door.
Oh, okay.
My question for my first one is were you familiar with the 2018 rules before? I know it's something that I mentioned in a video of mine. I'm assuming it's something that you knew of, but just curious.
Yeah, I was definitely. I was on a team 2018.
Okay.
So for me, I sent this to CrossFit as well. So I showed them like the difference they have in the rule book. So I wanted to highlight that because I thought that the 2018 rules were very clear, extremely clear, to be honest. And we followed each and every rule back in 2018 and had no problem with that team whatsoever. And just comparing those two rule books for me is such a big difference. And that's why like I really see that that's a problem, because now they're applying rules from back in 2018 and there's a different story for this year. This rule book is different.
Okay, I just want to, sorry, Andrew, before we start diving in, I want to say two things. I don't know who's in charge over there at CrossFit HQ of that, but there are two people over there that I know that, I mean, they're just, Adrian Bosman I think is in charge of half the games. And I know Curtis Bowler's in charge of drug testing. So I'm guessing somehow he might be involved in this. I'm not positive, but those two guys just are, when I worked there, they were as top tier and as thorough as could be. I can't imagine them ever, if they thought you could get in, I'm just telling you my bias. I have to imagine that they would have let you in. I mean, those guys really want the show to go on. I know Andrew sometimes talks about favorites and things like that. Even recently he said it in the video. In my time there, I never saw anything like that. So I just want you to know my bias. I looked up always to Curtis and Adrian. So, and then to make some clarity on the 2018 rulebook, what you're suggesting, and I think I agree with you 100%, is the 2018 rulebook shouldn't be involved in this at all. This is new. This is a new rulebook. The rulebook should be complete. You shouldn't have to sift through previous rulebooks. So what did you see that was different that you're pointing out?
So if I'm going to mention that, it's definitely the 3 times per week. So in the 2018 rulebook, it says 3 times per week with no exceptions. And that's like a weekly demand. Now it says regularly and the majority of the time, which is a different story. It also says specifically how you're supposed to prove that you are training each and every week, 3 days per week. And it says there that it's a picture that needs to be present with the date of that day. So what we did back in 2018, we took pictures holding our phones just to show the date on the screen. And I have those pictures still left from 2018, and they take up like gigabytes of my phone still. And I just remember that so vividly. And now in this year's rulebook, I looked for all of these things, and it said that you could prove that you've been training regularly with social media posts, whiteboard pictures, and then the gym software. And so when we had the gym software tracking every entrance, we thought that that would be enough. And just to make everything clear, we provided over 40 like gym check-ins. But the problem here has been that we have had to prove each and every check-in because they do not trust that the check-in is accurate. And we don't really know why. Here is like the problem from our side, that it feels like we are getting suspected of like faking a gym attendance log. And then when we prove that we have like a picture for almost every check-in, they still do not believe that all of the check-ins are real. So that's a little bit where we like disagree with each other, to be honest.
Okay, let me get some things here. So there's a sign here, or in the rule book, the current one, documentation demonstrating the athletes are active members of the team's affiliate should include proof of the following. The athletes live within 100 miles. Do you live within 100 miles, Viktor?
Yeah.
Okay. The athletes are active members of the affiliate, signed waivers. Have you done that?
Yeah.
The athletes are regularly training at the affiliate. So there's these two words here, regularly and primarily, right? Yeah. So we don't have a metric for that. Hi, Alex. Good morning.
Good evening, or good morning.
Or good evening.
I don't know what time it is.
So those are the things. Just to put it in perspective, the official start date of this is when? Is it January
13th of January.
13th of January. And how many days have there been? Do we know how many days there have been between? 40 doesn't seem like enough for primary and regularly, does it? Because that wouldn't even be half the days, right?
No, but 40 is what we have like in pictures and stuff like that. I mean, yeah. We have more than 40.
Yeah. And then you need to understand that when we started to count days, they started to count out of like every day during the week, so like 7 days a week. And I would say that nobody's training 7 days a week.
I wouldn't say that. I agree with you.
You know, exactly. So when it comes down to proving how much you're training and train primarily, then you need to, like, first of all, look at how much are you training. So if you look at 7 days a week, of course it's much more, but no one is training 7 days a week. And when it comes to training maybe not even that, and then when it comes to train primarily, you need to look at how much is Viktor training. Like Viktor and Antonia, they went to Vodapalooza. Viktor got COVID. Viktor had an eye surgery. And if you take all of these sessions, all of these days, and take it out of the counting, then it's a totally different number. So, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, those. So I guess there's a distinction there too that's really weird. Also, I would think that if you guys traveled together and did Wadapalooza together, you get credit for those days. It's not. I mean, what if you were competing every week and you only trained in the affiliates 1 day a week because you were competing? It would seem unfair. That team wouldn't get to. What if training's part of your? What if competing is part of your training, which it is, right?
Yeah. I mean, we had this discussion with CrossFit, and actually we like you mentioned, we agreed upon these like 75 days of possible training days. And that takes into account, obviously, that we went to Wadapalooza to compete. Both me and Viktor got COVID, so we were sick for a long period after that. So we started training a little bit after the deadline, but the guys were active members before. So out of the possible training days, I think like with that discussion, we made like a decision to count 75 days. And that's where this 40 comes out. Like 40 is what we were aiming to prove, because in the call with the employee at CrossFit, he said that we needed to prove 51% of those 75 days. So we aimed to prove then that 40 of our check-ins were accurate by providing proof for that proof. So basically that's what we've been doing with this number 40. So this number 40 is not the actual amount of check-ins that we have. We have more than 40 check-ins, but we decided that we were trying to prove them 40 check-ins to be on the safe side of training the majority of the time at Nordic, which Viktor has done. So that's what we did.
If I look at January, from starting from January 13th, is that what you said, Hiller?
Correct.
Yeah.
If I look at January, February, March, April, I don't count any days in May. I get 61, 89, 99. I get 106 days. What you're saying from there's only 80 training days, and of those 80 training days, at least 40 of them. Okay. And your number, you came up with 79, not 80. Okay.
Yeah. So we calculated Victor, they deducted rest days, and then they deducted the period he was sick and the period he did eye surgery. So that's basically how we came up with that number, so everybody gets that.
Who's they?
Man,
is they you
mess.
or is they CrossFit? Who deducted that? They did that? Okay.
Cool. Yeah, and then
after a long discussion.
Yeah,
after a long discussion.
And then we had the quarterfinals, and the quarterfinals, they were quite tough, both for like your body and for the mental part. And after that, the weekend after, we had a competition, and I mean, between 2 weekends and the training in between, we had a few days in the gym, but not like real proper training. It was more to get together and do the final part for the competition. And I find it really hard to count these days, as well as like you need to be in the gym to collect days when you have first quarterfinals and then travel days and then another competition. So when it comes,
I live 2,000 miles from Hiller, but I talk to him every day on the phone for an hour. I think we should get a credit for a training.
We would be a great team.
I would join that.
Victor, where else did you train since January? Where else have you trained?
In my hometown.
And is there a gym there or in your own garage?
Yeah, it's my gym.
Oh, it's your own gym. You're an affiliate owner too.
Yeah, I'm a co-owner.
Wow.
You're not the licensee of the licensor, are you? No. Okay.
Do you have a log of what days you train there?
No, we don't have like the same kind of system as Nordic does.
Right.
But
Was
then, and
anyone else?
remember,
Go ahead.
yeah, sorry, and even though he trained at another place as well, we tend to train quite a lot outside as well here in Sweden. We used to run really much here and so on, and it's pretty hard to collect proof for that, but that's part of how we train and has always been. So
at any time during the season, in the last year, because you knew you were going to do this for the last 2 years, right, Viktor? This has been like kind of like a 2-year plan.
Yeah. I mean, during the pandemic, I started to like think about going team, and then I started to talk to these guys, and then when we knew that we could do it sometime last year, we just like decided to go for it. Yeah.
Did you guys think, Alex and Antonio, did you think that Viktor was going to be good enough to be on a team with you two?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we have known each other for many years.
Yeah.
So this is not like, hey, who are you? Do you want to have like a team for a year? I mean, we've been friends like for the last 6, 7, 8 years. So we pretty know each other really well.
I mean, basically looking at like the potential male athletes that we could choose from, like Viktor has been so close to qualifying himself many times. And I know that some podcast has gotten this wrong, but he has never been to the games, to my knowledge. But he's been so close. So I felt like he deserved to go to the games, to be honest. So when we put this team together and he said that he could make these sacrifices, driving to train with us the majority of the time, we thought that obviously that's because he really wants to go to the games, right? Because he's tried for the last like 7 years. And now we saw this opportunity where we could get a team together that would be very competitive. And Viktor was definitely one of our like first choices, but we had to check with him if he could make it work. But yeah, definitely, he's a perfect team athlete. He's good at everything, and he's a funny guy. So we have a lot of fun together.
For those of you listening, I asked around. The conventional wisdom is that they are a top 10 team in the world, and that they could have finished as high as third, so that they actually did have podium chances. I mean, that's not science, that's consensus. But so you, I mean, obviously there was some serious training that went in. Was anyone else on your team investigated?
Yeah, me. And
You
I
were
live
too.
I live, I think it's like 4 or 5 miles from Nordic. But it comes down to like, do I train enough there? Because I have my office at another gym in the basement. So I have my office there for free, and it's like 5 minutes from my apartment. But I still do all my training at Nordic. Sometimes I go outside for a run. Sometimes I do my training at other place, but the majority of the training I do at Nordic. But I got investigated as well. That's why they first disqualified the whole team, because
because of you.
Yeah, because both me and Viktor got disqualified. So after the last call with them, when we sent all the proof, they accepted my proof, which was pretty much the similar proof as Viktor, but they accepted like 15 more proofs from me. So they let me in, in the game again. And because we had an extra guy on the team, they let the team continue the season. But
do you guys feel as if sorry.
Yeah,
I gotta ask, because you said that they looked into it because of you first. So do you guys feel as if somebody ratted on you? Because that's generally one of the ways that they look into people in the first place.
Yeah, someone definitely ratted on you. Someone definitely ratted on you.
So do you think, Alex, that they ratted on you, and then Viktor was kind of the byproduct of them looking into you?
No, I think it is that because they know that both me and Viktor didn't train at Nordic before, but they knew that Michaela and Antonia did. So they found kind of an opportunity to rat out me and Viktor for some reason.
I think that someone Googled my address, Googled the gym's address, and then just clicked directions. Then it's within 100 miles. But if you drive a car, it's It's like
as the crow flies, it's 100 miles.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do you have crows there?
Yeah.
Pros.
Yeah. They're taking over the world. They're taking over the world. They're fucking everything up. Who do you know who ratted you out?
No.
No,
Would love to.
it's anonymous, you
I would
know.
love to.
Yeah, I'm
And
more
I
like
say ratted
no,
because I'm
really
not.
like
I'm
that
not.
way.
I don't really like this. I can't articulate it. I don't like the fact, and I want to come in defense of Adrian and Curtis or whoever's over there who's doing this again. They're being put in a position where someone told on you, and now they're being forced to referee it.
Yeah.
There's like some Gestapo shit that like I don't really like. It's like if I called the police telling them that my neighbors were dealing cocaine, but they're not, just to fucking ruin their Christmas, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And maybe that's what happened here. Like another team felt very threatened, or someone just does not like a person on the team. And
do any of them have bad breakups? Anyone on your team have a bad breakup in the last 6 months?
Guys, I don't know.
Not what I know.
Uh-oh, Alex is quiet.
It must be me because Viktor is a really likable person. So I think it's on me, this one. But yeah, it's just annoying, and it's hard to kind of find proof against something that you don't know what you need to find proof against.
So
it's super easy for me to rat on every single team out there. I can sit here behind my computer and write an email and say that, man, I know that the girl on Mayhem, they are not living there now. I know it, but yeah, don't call my name out. So
if I were to give my Instagram over to CrossFit right now, they would have access to like 20 plus cases of people who have written to me from the semifinals over the past couple weekends of teams that were in contention to qualify or have qualified for the games with situations that sound much worse than you. And I'm one guy who can only make so many videos, and I covered you guys' issue because it's a big thing, but I could make so many different videos on so many different teams, and I've covered a couple of them. The issue becomes, it's like, why is CrossFit making the big deal about you? And why won't they look into teams in Canada or teams in Iowa or teams in that sort of deal, you know? Like they're like on the cusp teams, but it's like this person's a head coach over here / owner over there, and CrossFit's never going to address them. Maybe because somebody hasn't ratted on them and somebody has ratted on you.
We also don't know if they've been investigated. I'm hearing that Mayhem Independence.
That's the thing too. Yes.
I'm hearing Mayhem Independence was thoroughly investigated. Camo Athletics team was thoroughly investigated. 4 teams from Argentina have been disqualified. 1 from Sweden, 1 from the Netherlands. So it's not. This isn't isolated.
Correct. So, but what I'm wondering is, we actually asked about, like, do you have any type of like example of a team that has been investigated and that has like gone through the process and not being disqualified? Can you send us to show us what we need to show you in order to let us through? And they sent us nothing back. They did not want to make an example of what would be accepted. So what we did basically was from our own view, we had to come up with the most, clear way of showing that we had followed the rules. But it was not fully clear to us, like, how we needed to prove that. And I think that's why we went through 3 rounds of evidence. So first we sent in pictures and we sent in attendance logs. And then we were told that that was not like enough. So we sent in even more proof. But then,
when you say not enough, it's not enough proof, because there is something weird going on here, Antonio. You're asked, we don't know. Let's say the criteria is 51%.
Yeah.
You guys are right on the line, right?
Yeah.
You guys sent 40 days of 79 or 80, whatever we're going to decide on, but it's right on the line. So did that original not satisfy the number of days, or it wasn't clear enough evidence? Do you see the distinction?
We didn't get an answer on that. No,
not Kilo, Mike helping, just letting you know.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
So first of all, like, we thought that the attendance log in itself would be proof enough because it says so in the rule book. So when we got that back, we heard that like CrossFit suspected that some gyms out there, he did not want to say that it was us, but that like some people could fake an attendance log, which is obviously true.
Right.
So we tried with social media because we knew that we had.
But that's also not your problem.
No. No.
Apparently it is.
But we wanted then, of course, like, since we've done nothing wrong, we really tried following the rules here. So we were like, okay, sure.
What if a cop, sorry to interrupt you, what if a cop pulled me over and I showed him my driver's license and he said that could be fake? Like, fuck you.
Yeah, it could. But what are you going to do about it? Like,
right.
So we just wanted to make sure that they realized that the attendance log was real. So we started sending in social media posts of those specific dates. So we matched the date to the date of the attendance log and showed that during the same time of the day, we posted on Instagram that we were there and training and we did some work with the worm. And then we got back that social media could also be fake. It could be posted another day than the actual photo was taken or the video was taken, which is of course also true. But right now, this is becoming our problem, that social media could be fake or attendance logs could be fake, even if that's the proof that they originally asked for in the rule book. So for us, then it became a problem of, okay, so now we need to have photos and videos from the original device. And as you all know, you don't save each and every video you shoot in Instagram stories. You don't save that to your phone all the time.
Right.
So sadly, we had deleted some videos that was on Instagram. So we started getting desperate and like looking through our phones and trying to find original photos and videos of these days to match then the attendance dates that we had already sent in. And just to clarify, the attendance log is proving more than 40 days. So we're not on the line in terms of how many times we've actually been there.
What does the attendance log look like? What does it look like? Is it handwritten or is it computer?
No, it's a PDF document that you export from the system. So it's basically, it says check-in with a time and a date. And it says checkout. The system checks you out. I think it's 4 hours later automatically because we don't check members out. They just leave when they're done. But they check in with the card or in the reception. And that's the way it works. So we just took that out of the system and it becomes a PDF file. So it says the date, the time, the name of the member, and when they were checked out. So that's basically what it says.
If the four of you got together, and you sat down and talked at the gym and ate something and put together a plan, does that constitute a training day?
Not really. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know what
it
comes on. If you have a picture from that, it might have been okay. But
if the four of you met at the gym, it was a rest day, and you came together to discuss strategy for a semifinal, would that constitute a training day?
I don't know. You have to ask CrossFit, to be honest. Okay. We only showed proof of the days that we actually did team training.
Yeah. Like actually sweat, lift shit.
Yeah.
And since I live like 9 minutes away, when we talked, like we did talk strategies and stuff like that. But since I live 90 minutes away, I wanted to, when I was going down there, I wanted to train.
Yeah.
So we did if we had like meetings, we had them before or after training, or we had them like we are talking now on the phone.
Do you know what else is interesting here? Sorry, Antonio, I know I interrupted you.
Oh, you go.
It says teams will consist of at least 2 men and 2 women who validly register for the Open and train primarily at the same CrossFit affiliate, starting no later than the start of the Open registration for the current competition season. That also leaves that every day between now and the games, the competition season is still going. So even if you didn't have enough days, if you were to train together from here on out all the way up to the games, that would fulfill the days. I mean, if words mean anything, I don't know. I don't know I don't know what happened in your country, but my country doesn't mean shit anymore.
No. I mean, it would be totally fine for us if they read the rules the same way as you are doing.
You could get another 60 days. They could tell you, hey, you guys better train together the next 45 days in a row together. Victor, you better fucking sleep in the driveway, dude.
Yeah.
We asked that. And we said, I mean, we can do as you wish from now, but it's impossible for us to collect all these proofs from now and 4 or 5 months back.
Yeah.
But from now on, we could easily do it. And we said that in the beginning of May, but we didn't get a response on that either.
When you tried to collect the evidence, how deep did you go? Did you ask everyone in the gym, hey, does anyone have photos from this day?
Yeah.
If you were at the gym training, you took a photo of a blister on your hand. Can we see it? Maybe Victor's in the background, like that kind of shit.
Yes. We went full FBI. Like seriously, I think I spent collecting that evidence and like for us to write it all together, because we made a calendar also to show them like patterns so they could see that we've been training every Wednesday, for example. Every Wednesday has always been team day. We usually train all weekend. So we train Saturday and Sunday, or we train. So we try to show patterns as well. So they would see that, okay, we can see proof from this and this. And then we collected evidence in folders. So it would be very easy to click through them to see every specific date, every specific month, and what evidence was in there. So I think I spent, like, from my perspective, 40 hours collecting evidence the last time, like a full weekend. And we posted in the gym group to see if someone had us in the background. A couple of members had us climbing ropes in the background, or just warming up in the background of their video. We went through bank accounts, bank transactions. We went through GPS logs of Garmin and Polar watches, like when we've been, when Alex has been running to the gym to show that he actually transported himself from his home address to the Nordic address to show proof that he did train there that day. We looked through everything. Like, I don't know what more that you could find, but
Victor, what kind of car do you drive?
What kind of car?
Yeah.
Volkswagen.
Of course you do.
Was that the question, or is it something else behind it?
No, well, I was just trying to think about how much gas he used. I mean, I don't know what's happening to gas. I think you already pay a lot in your country, but we pay we're not paying kind of what I think you guys have been paying forever.
It's super expensive.
No, actually, we had to finance that from somewhere, right? So he also sent in driver's logs for us to pay for his gas from the team. And we sent that into CrossFit as well to show that he's been driving and that we've been paying him money for that from the team. But they did not accept that either. Did you ask for your money back from Victor when he fucked this all up? I'm gonna. Hey, did you guys think about wearing a pride shirt on the podcast today to try to just get some political points?
Yeah, I'll think about it, but.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Andrew. Sorry.
Nordic's been around for 10 to 12 years, you said, and you guys have to have a security system, right? Can you not pull stuff from the cameras? Don't you have cameras set up there or no? I don't know if I'm allowed to say if they are working or not, but let's just say that they are not really giving us pictures from that system. We'll just say that it's not clear enough to tell whether or not you can see who's who. No, we do not. We do not have like a surveillance system.
Dude, it's Sweden, dude. Someone threw.
What do you mean?
Like, you get beaten if you throw your gum on the ground there, dude. Like,
I mean, it's a security system, but it's not with cameras, so on.
No, exactly.
And that's pretty common that you have
we did check that,
an alarm and so on.
I wanted that. We even checked with the landlord of the house that's renting the building if they had like a camera, like accessing by car, but they did not. But
yeah, as you were telling me everything you did, my question became dumber and dumber. I'm like, of course, you get a freaking security system.
I can't think. Hiller probably have to help me here, but because I don't know sports, I'm like barely a man. But in baseball, when there's a tie, I think it goes. So do you guys, are you familiar with the sport baseball?
Yeah, for sure.
And if a guy's running to a base and you throw the ball to the man waiting at the base, and if he touches you at the same time your foot touches the base, I think the tie goes to the runner, the man who's trying to get to the base.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And I haven't spoken to anyone at HQ, but what I'm hearing here just circumstantially is that we're in a tie kind of. And it is the affiliate cup. Sorry, go ahead, Alex. Go ahead.
I mean, it has become a tie without like it doesn't need to be that, because if you look at the rule book, then it says that you need to show that you're training regularly at the CrossFit box that you are like competing for. But the more we dig into this case, it comes down to like specific proof, and that you need to show 51%, and you need to do this and that. And I mean, that's not in the rule book. It would be super easy for us to follow those rules if we had them, but we didn't have these rules. And we tried.
Okay, so let's not say tie. Let's say some negligence or growing pains on CrossFit's fault.
Yeah.
Victor, do you have an iPhone?
I'm just trying to understand why they wouldn't give. You're an affiliate. You're a 10, 11, 12, 13-year affiliate. Mads and his wife are staples in the community worldwide. Everyone knows them. If you've been doing CrossFit and you don't know them, it's just you will eventually. if I'm running the show, I'm thinking that maybe I go back and I say, okay, we're going to see that we dropped the ball. We're going to take personal responsibility and accountability for it. And this isn't going to happen next year. And they just changed the rule book right there. Like someone's amending the rule book in real time for next year.
Yeah. And we actually offered to be a part of that process. So in an email to CrossFit, I said that we would gladly be a part of the process of developing a more clear rule book for teams to follow next year. And we also said, like Alex mentioned, that we could definitely go from the rules from 2018 for the remainder of the season. So really to take pictures with like a phone in the frame and just showing that we're there that specific date. So we offered to do both of those things, but we did not get any responses to that. And I think from the beginning, the problem for us is it feels like we were judged beforehand, like it felt like they thought that we had done something wrong, and that was where they were coming from. So we had to really prove them wrong in that, thought. It feels like a little bit.
Well, they have a right to ask, right, Antonia? They have a right to ask. But basically, someone ratted you out. Someone tattled.
Yeah, and I would want to see what was in that email, because it felt to me like there was something in there that I wonder why believing from the beginning that we had cheated. And I just would want to see that, to be able to at least, like, I don't need to know who it was, but just like, what was it? Was there some kind of proof in there? Like, we would really like to discuss this and to be able to tell our point of view, because right now it feels like we were, read it out and then on beforehand just judged like we did something wrong.
So when you go to report something at YouTube, if you report something copyrighted and they investigate it and they find out you were lying, you can be punished for that.
Yeah.
And so I've seen people use copyrighted shit, and I've gone there to report it. And then when I saw that, I'm like, fuck it, it's not worth the risk.
Yeah.
It's not worth. So I wonder if that is something that needs to be part of the Tattletale protocol, that if they tell on you and you're found innocent, your name will be revealed.
Yeah, I think so.
No, I don't agree with this, Dick. I don't agree with this. The burden should be on them to prove you cheated. I don't think so. It's not about cheating. There is something in the rule book that says CrossFit is able to ask for evidence that he trained there. And I think they should be allowed to do that.
Yeah, of course.
But the thing here is that it's not clear what they're asking for, and it's too ambiguous.
I mean, I have no problem getting investigated. I mean, I have no problem with that. But I think the problem is that when we had the call with them 5 months into the season, they told us that they want us to show stuff that we had no clue about, like the 51% rule.
Well, it says primarily and regularly, and then they turn that into a metric. I'm not defending. I'm just saying, right?
Yeah. But I think also
I don't see that 51% thing. Who said that? Where is that? Is that in the Morning Chocolate article?
It's from CrossFit, so they turned it into that. When we discussed the terms, I said that maybe you have to take into consideration that every country out there is not a native English speaker, and you write the majority of the time and you write regularly, and they think that those terms are obvious, like the majority of the time means
no, they're not obvious.
And there was a 51% rule in 2018, so it said 51% in the 2018 rule book, from what I know. But it said here the majority of the time at that affiliate.
So here's another problem that I didn't even think of that you pointed out early in the podcast. It says Bowler cited they were looking for proof of at least 51% of available training days to determine eligibility. Like, I thought it would just be 51% of all of the days. But it's not all of the days. It's all of the training days. And who's to determine what the training days are?
So this is where we had that big discussion. So for us in the team, it's we go from training. We train 5 days a week usually. If no one is sick or nothing else is happening. If we're competing, we may rest more days before that and after that. So looking at quarterfinals and looking at that competition that we went to the weekend after quarterfinals, we rested more, obviously.
Did you get points for the quarterfinal days?
No, not for both of them, as we had to go to another gym at one of them because the rope height at Nordic is like 15 centimeters.
Oh, this is bullshit.
So, so we needed to follow the rules. As you can see, we've done.
You went to another gym to train on equipment as a team, and you didn't get the days for training at your gym?
No, we don't get the days then because we're not in Nordic.
And they said that's on us. So
yeah, it's our responsibility. Yeah. And so we trained with the team as well, going out running. So we do hill running, pushing sleds.
This isn't how you treat people. This isn't how you treat people.
I mean, it's for us, the athletes, the only thing we can do before the season, it's look into the rule book. That's the only thing we can do.
So what if you would have taken a picture of you guys doing jumping jacks in your gym where you met, and then you went over to the other gym? That's what you have to do?
Kind of.
Yeah, and then, yeah, for sure. That would have been okay because we would have had a picture from Nordic. Yeah. But it was not okay now because we only had the video from the other gym doing the actual workout.
I don't know if I have a solution, but man, this just seems like not the way I would want to be. I don't want to be. I wouldn't want to be treated like this. Go ahead. Sorry, Hiller. Go ahead.
I just think that something that's very interesting about all this is we can remember the Annika Greer situation, and in that situation, they went to the rule book. They refer to the rule book. They're like, your score wasn't on time. They were hard and fast on that. Yeah. And then in this situation, they don't refer to the rule book. They implement their own take on the rule book, which is what they, in my opinion, maybe should have considered with Annika Greer. It's like, oh, this is an extrinsic thing that we couldn't have seen happening. And right now with your situation, it's something that they couldn't have seen happening. But what they're doing is they're not referring to what they wrote. They're giving something else, something new. Yeah. So this is another one of those do as I say, not as I do. We make up the rules as we want to sort of things. And that's one of the biggest issues here. Yeah. Is that the rule book says what it says, and you're doing what the rule book says. And
maybe there should be different rules for how long you've been an affiliate.
What do you mean? Yeah. If they're 10-year affiliate,
once you've crossed over the 10-year, you only need 10% of training there.
When you've sent,
I mean, it's
or by age,
and you only need this much.
this just shits all over the community part of it. That's all I'm feeling. But you know what? Part of that falls on all the games athletes too. Those you fucking guys and the people around all that shit have so confused what CrossFit actually is that the whole thing has turned into a mess.
Can we talk about
has the PFAA gotten involved at all? Have they helped you guys? Isn't that their job to come in and help you or tell you to stand down? Have they helped you?
Who?
Yeah, right. Okay.
The FDA.
No, not the FDA. The PFAA. That thing that Fikowski runs.
Yeah, Victor's been in contact with them.
And have they helped at all, Victor?
No.
Oh, here.
Have they responded? They have responded?
Yeah.
What did they let you know that wasn't helpful?
Yeah, I talked to Brent. I talked to Brent last week, and he said that he would try to help, but he couldn't promise anything.
It's like he's busy trying to win the Granite Games next weekend, and they should probably have somebody else at the head of an organization helping the athletes competing this year. But that's just me.
Hey, what do you think? Do you think the person should be outed who reported? Do you think, or is that just bully shit?
No. They should out him.
They should.
I mean, I would at least like to see the email. Like, was it only one person sending in? I think this team has cheated, and that's that.
Well, because here's the thing: it stops people from making false claims in the future. Yeah. If it is false.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, if you're gonna rat a team out, be prepared to at least be addressed. Don't just like hide in the shadows and
exactly.
call out teams.
Or did they send 52 pictures from 52 different days of them smoking crack with Viktor in an alley in a city 200 miles away?
Oh, it wasn't me.
That would have been awkward. That would have been really awkward.
It would be real awkward.
I don't really care who like reported us or me, but I just think that it comes down to HQ giving us new rules 5 months into the season. I mean, like I said, I have no problem getting investigated. And when we gave them all the stuff, we thought that we would be fine. So we just let it go and kept on training. Yeah. And then they came back. This is not enough. We gave them new stuff. This is not enough. Yeah.
There is a line in there that says CrossFit can do whatever they want. It's at their sole discretion. I mean, duh.
Well, then they should just say that.
Yeah.
We're going to do what we want. You guys can compete.
So we're not going to let you. Yeah.
There's no arguing that.
Yeah.
And I think the problem like that we experienced as well when we had this phone call with them, they said that the affiliate cup should not be a person driving 90 minutes to be eligible for a team. They said that that's like their point of view on it. And then we tried to discuss with them and saying like, okay, but the rule book says that he has to live within 100 miles. He needs to be an active member and he needs to train regularly at the affiliate. And if we can provide proof of all of that, isn't he then eligible to compete on our team? And then we brought up also the example of people moving around. And now it becomes an economic question because Viktor could not afford to like lose his job and move to Stockholm to compete with us this full season. If he could have, he would have. But he couldn't. But we could meet the requirements in the rule book. So we still wanted to get a team together and do this. And I mean, then it becomes like an economic question. Like if we would have had even more sponsor money, then we could have gotten this team together, lived together, and trained even more. But now we can't. So like that's where I think it's a little bit unfair as well, because they say that it's supposed to be affiliates bringing in like homegrown teams. But then athletes that can afford to move across the globe, they can do that and build super teams. So now it's like even more divided within the field of teams.
Someone with their mouth told you that?
Yeah.
They said
one of the people that you mentioned earlier.
It came. You were on the phone with them, and it came
Yes.
out of their mouth that the spirit of it wasn't to drive 90 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Those
They
specific
should not
words.
have said. They should not have said that.
We had a group chat like this with
Yeah.
3 of us and this person.
And we were basically begging on our knees to get another chance to prove that we.
When
we
you say
did not
group
do
chat,
anything
is
wrong.
that in writing or it's a phone call?
No, it's
No,
a phone
phone
call.
call, yeah.
It's a phone call.
Yeah, I know.
The email where I'm begging for the phone call is available, where I ask someone, please speak to us, because we feel like the communication in emails right now is not working. We need to talk to each other to understand what we're doing wrong, because we cannot understand what we're doing wrong.
And God bless you guys for how good your English is. My goodness. Us Americans, we can't stand anyone who has a fucked up accent. We have to like put our ear. Thank you so much for attending to our idiocy. Not only must team members be able to prove they live within 100 miles of the CrossFit affiliate, which he does if you draw a line on the straight line on the map as the bird flies, they're representing. They must also be able to demonstrate they're active members of the team's affiliate. Check, we got that. He pays what he done. He signed the waiver, and are regularly and primarily training at that affiliate.
Yeah.
Mr. Andrew Weinstein clarifying the email. Well, anything he says is. I mean, he's a PR guy. He's a PR guy. It's just, it's all just, it's not. Man.
Viktor, do you have an iPhone?
Yeah.
In there's a way you can check your history. I'm sure you've looked into that too, right?
Yeah. It doesn't work with the new one. I tried to look as well, but it says like we have like 208 like spots you regularly visit, and that's it. We can't like see all the spots, so that's a good one.
Like
but
first a specific date.
Yeah.
I tried to contact the like the phone company.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
like your operator.
Yeah, they want to help us because we're not the FBI.
Yeah.
The only thing I can see around them making that spirit of the like what they're trying to do, the team competition deal and the Con Porter issue, is that he currently lives like in the gym or something along those lines. So like right now you're driving to get there, but I also assume that there's a world where there is a location where there's an affiliate, there's an individual who lives so far away from the affiliate, and it's the closest one, and that guy still has to drive, or girl has to drive that far every single day to get to that affiliate. So what's the difference? I mean, like there's affiliates that are closer for Viktor. I don't know.
Yeah. And we were also discussing this about, being an active member. And we looked a little bit about like, seeing that these guys have been training at Nordic now for like 6 months, and they've been like really active members. And being an active member for me and contributing to the community is like, hanging out there, having lunch with members, giving tips and tricks to people in the gym, actually talking to people. And I don't know if I can imagine that like all of these elite athletes, like moving to a specific place are such a big part of that community. Do you get what I mean with that? Like if you're training very, very specifically towards getting to the games and winning the games, of course, your head is going to be in the game most of the time. But like, I really think that both Alex and Viktor has done a great job of also being a part of the community at Nordic. So we wanted to show that as well. So that's why we got those name signatures. So over one weekend, which was all the time that was given to us, we got over 120 people signing a waiver stating that they had like been in contact with and seen Viktor and Alex and feel that they are active members of the community. And multiple members also offered to witness on our behalf, to say that they have seen them there weekly and regularly, and that they are active members of Nordic, and that they feel like they're part of the Nordic family.
Extreme times call for extreme members. I just want to show you what this woman did. A fans only creator. You guys, are you familiar with fans only?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Good answer. Good answer, Alex. Good
No.
answer. An OnlyFans creator cheated her way out of a permanent ban on Instagram by managing to stalk and sleep with. I don't know if you have that term there. Sleep with means have sex with in the States.
Yeah,
Some Facebook's
I don't
employees.
really know what it means.
She slept her way back into the good graces of Facebook. I just.
Are you
Victor,
implying
that's
this is
that's
me
on you,
now?
Victor.
No. There's tons of dudes there Alex can blow. No. There's tons.
Okay, good.
I'm not.
I'm in
suggesting
the
Victor,
team.
you have to take
I'm
this for the
already in
team.
again. This is Victor.
Yeah, Viktor is the one with the problem right now.
Holy shit! This world we live in.
You need to send some emails, Viktor.
Tell me about let's talk about some good news. Tell me about Eric Bjork Rubio. This is like if a Mexican had sex with a Icelandic person. I feel like I'm getting a little bit of like Mexican
Well, he looks
vibes,
a
but
little
also
bit like that
Bjork
as
Vin
well.
Carl Goodmanson. I feel like
He's half Spanish, to be honest.
okay.
Yeah.
Eric Rubio. Yeah, and then this Bjork is what? His mom is Icelandic or
No,
Björk.
it's Swedish.
Swedish?
Björk.
Swedish with the strange ö.
See, you thought I was being funny, but I was actually right.
It was pretty
Yeah.
much.
Okay.
Just another country, but close enough.
What's the deal? Is he any good? Or are you guys like just so depressed you're going with him? You're like, oh man.
He's
He's
really good. He's really, really good. But he's very young. He's 21 years old. So he's the child of the team right now. So, I mean, to try to fill the shoes of Viktor is hard, but he's definitely going to offer his best game on game day. And hopefully we can still show the world that Nordic will not give up and that we will still perform well.
Do we have any like love for HQ because they allowed that? Or are we like, okay, this sucks, but at least we're not all out? And then the second you guys leave, you guys will laugh and forget about Viktor. Just like, all right, Viktor, fuck him.
I think like to be really thankful for something that we deserved in the first place. I don't really know if I'm thankful for that because like I think it would be ridiculous to try to state that Alex has not been visiting Nordic enough on a weekly basis as he lives like 6 kilometers away. Like that would have been very strange if he did not like, train enough at Nordic. So I don't know if we're thankful. I mean, of course, we're still excited to compete at semifinals. That's been the goal, like for this whole year. But we're not going to be able to do it with our original team, even if Eric is like a great athlete and we love him so much. Like it's still like not the original idea. So I don't know, you guys.
And
what do you think?
Yeah, and he came in like 4 days ago. I think it is. So we've been training to.
And Viktor was the passionate one too, right? Did he sort of spearhead the whole thing?
I think me and Alex also are very passionate about like we wanted to make a podium capable team, so to speak. I think we have all been very like passionate about this, and all of us have been and Michaela as well have been really running towards that goal and trying to achieve that.
Yeah. But it's just so draining when all this came up and we had the conversation with HQ for 2 weeks and it took so much energy. So we kept training with Viktor and tried to hold on as good as possible. But it took so much energy and training time and all that. So when we got the final decision, it was like, come on. And I mean, Eric will do a super good job. But to train together for more than half a year to really get the team together compared to jump in 1.5 to 2 weeks before semifinals, it's pretty different. So it will still be super fun, of course, but will not be the same.
I think it stole a little bit of our joy, to be honest. Like I just felt like someone is bullying us and we can't do anything about it. And we felt sad, obviously. And I felt like individually, I felt very sad for Viktor because I think he deserves this. And I think this is so unfair to him. And to be honest, like he's one of the athletes in Sweden that I look up to the most. And like to see how hard he's been working to get to the games, I was very proud that we would be able to on a team offer him that like possibility. And that's what makes it even more sad, like from my individual perspective.
Teddy, that is one of the things we talked about. If he says game
Teddy's
season,
comments.
I mean, he could have more than enough time there if he trained every day from now until the games.
Yeah,
he
could
would
live
launch
with
him.
me. Like we would make a solution. Like he would definitely fix it.
Yeah.
I don't
When
really
is
know
your
what they're
your
asking.
your semifinals this weekend?
No, next weekend. Strength and depth. London.
Was your alternate on the roster? So the guy, yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can sign up, like one alternate person for the female and the male side, and that's all you've got. So now we've got no alternates. We only got
Gotcha.
the original team now, or the new original team. Yeah.
Someone here is like saying he's already at 51%. I know that's the right. Yeah, but you're from Europe.
Yeah.
That you got to say that.
What's their biggest? Their
Andrew,
biggest
can I ask you a
issue?
question real quick before you
Oh,
ask
me
this
a
question? Yeah.
What's
And,
up?
and I hate to put you on the spot.
Do it.
This situation here, Annika Greer, in the quarterfinals, third workout. I know it's we're conflating some obviously some stuff. Where do you think the quarterfinals 3 workout we would agree is just a complete fuck up, right? I mean, dudes didn't get to go to the semifinals who earned it, and dudes went to the semifinals who didn't earn it. Right?
Earned is a very iffy word, but yeah, you're onto the right track.
What word would you use?
It's hard to tell whether or not people earned it because we don't know exactly who did the workout the right way. And with the article written by Watkins, you can see that there was a couple ways that they could have gone about it, and the only way that they went about it was the wrong way. So who earned it it's like up in the air. You can't really know because they didn't make a good choice. They made the wrong choice, the only wrong choice per the Tyler Watkins article, which I think was well written. Remember we talked about that? There was like that scatter chart and there's a couple of things you could have done. So who earned it? The people in there, most of them earned it. A couple of them likely would have been put out. But I think the best thing they could have done would have been just pulled that workout out altogether, and then we would have seen who had earned it.
So if the argument is on all of these, CrossFit had to make these hard decisions in order to draw a hard line in the sand, or the other side is shit, man, it's a community sport. Why not just do what's right?
I don't think I know what the question is.
I know. I don't know what the question is either.
But I think
I'm just
the thing
tripping
that
that
keeps
there's
on
these 3
happening
things
is
and that they could have gone either way. And CrossFit seems to have chosen the thing that hurts the athlete.
They whimper away with like a dog with a tail between its legs every single time. And I think that the issue becomes is that they never say anything. They don't know what the hell is going on. So we have this team right here, and we have statements made through the grapevine, through the morning chalk up, and they never come out and say, this is what happened. Here is the evidence. And what I would say for these guys is, let's see what you got. Like if you have it on a Google Drive, go ahead and put it out there. And then all of a sudden the entire world can now see like you guys' evidence. It'd probably get the world a little bit more upset, put them more on your side, because from what I hear from you guys, it seems really good, right? So the whole world be like, oh, look at all this stuff. It's like, do you think that every team everywhere has this sort of evidence? If CrossFit were to go out and check the hundreds of teams out there and look at them, they wouldn't have anything near that much just because you guys were doing what you thought you were supposed to do. The rest of the world couldn't do that. Same thing with what Mike did on the workout 3, that he did a bunch of work. You can see it. He put it out there. I did my little piece. I put it out there, and you can see that CrossFit just didn't do their job. So they're in my opinion, not making. Sevan, you brought up the hard line. Like, what is the hard line? The hard line isn't there because they don't say anything ever. They never prove their case. They just brush under the rug and hope it goes away. But the thing is, there's new things every other week.
I mean, what if they said this? Would this be unprofessional? What if they said this? Hey, we're going to let Annika Greer in. Moving forward, we will not let anyone in. Hey, we're going to let Team Nordic in just so you know that we own this. This will never happen again. Listen up, everyone. We will not. Shut the fuck up if you're going to use them as an example in the future. Like, why not? That's what I mean. The tie goes to the runner. Why not just, we're a community. We're a family. And and I was a big proponent of that with Annika too, even though the vast majority of people disagree with me. I think she should have been let in too. I think that there's just a piece to it that I know feelings to me. And
amendments to the rule book, I think, are what you're looking at. Like, they keep on making new rule books, and when you go to school, you get the textbook, right? It's at the first edition, and by the time the book has been around for 12 years, you got the 12th edition, and you can't buy the first edition because maybe you missed something. And what we brought up earlier was that the rulebook looked away in 2018, and now it looks away in 2022. And it looks like they backpedaled to a point in time where they hadn't mentioned the 51% issue. And that doesn't really happen with the new additions. Usually they just keep on adding things. So with what you just said with Annika Greer, yeah, sure, litter in, but then in the future say it doesn't matter how much evidence you have, and you're not going to get any sort of leeway. And here they just say, all right, we should already have the 51% thing stated, but they didn't state it. So we're looking at edition 1, and you're playing like it's edition 12.
And I mean, like in this case, from my opinion, like if they would have said like, okay, we're going to let like Nordic off the hook, and they would need to back that statement. Like, why did you let them off the hook? You could definitely share like the evidence that we have shared with them. And I think anyone would agree that we have really shown that we have trained together the majority of the time. So like they would have their backs free.
Well, they don't think so. They don't think so, right? They obviously have something. They obviously have something. Which I mean, I know Adrian and Curtis or whoever's over there.
Yeah, it has to be something more, but they're not.
Yeah,
like,
they see something that we don't see. They're not assholes. Those dudes are not. Those are good people.
In either case, they would be sharing something. That's what I'm saying.
And I mean, like, obviously, since there's like bank transactions and stuff in there, like with these guys, like bank accounts and stuff, they cannot share that. Like that would be very unprofessional. But they could definitely like state that they have evidence and like that they received over 1 gigabyte of evidence. And of course, like I heard that mentioned on the podcast, like different types of evidence take up different amount of space. Like if we shared videos and stuff like that, but we shared very low amount of videos and tried to only do pictures and like bank statements and like bank transactions, parking tickets and stuff like that to really have a lot. And I think right now they're also looking to like from the January 13th up until 10th of May, but we provided all the way up until like today's date. And like that evidence, nobody's seen that, but that's also very like
compelling.
Solid. Yeah, it's still showing that we like, so from my point of view, I would just look at it and see like, okay, so there's a pattern here, right? Like there's a pattern that like specifically from week to week, they can still provide pictures that correlate with the attendance log. So why would we assume that it's fake? That's where I'm like, I don't know why you're.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like assuming it's fake either, or made up, or you haven't proved it. What did Alex do that got them off of Alex's back? That convinced them that Alex, what did you show that got them off your back so quickly? What did you show?
I know it. We sent the big 1 gigabyte file that was the file for both me and Viktor, and we just got the email back that I have enough proof, like 45 out of if it was 80 days or what it was, and I was like, shit, this is super nice. Let's go, team. And then I read the rest of the email. I was like, but Viktor, you're out.
Where else do you train, Alex?
Like 5 minutes from my apartment where I had the Trans Lab. It's not even an affiliate.
It's like a local gym.
It's like called like Training Lab. It's a local gym down here. So I have my office there. And so.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
Do you own that gym?
No.
No.
I just sit there. No, I don't work at the gym. I have the office down in the gym. I have my own business. I just sit there with my office or at home. So.
And then you just go up and do curls or hit on girls or whatever.
Yeah, a few calf races and important stuff.
Calf races.
I keep on trying to bring up Con Porter. Have you seen any of the statements made by Con Porter
in regards to this?
Yeah,
I mean, I haven't heard you try to bring him up once, by the way.
Well, there's a lot of talking going on, and I talk too much, so. I made a video about what I don't remember what it was, but he responded in the comments about his moving to Iceland after Lollapalooza. He didn't arrive in Iceland to be on that team until the 16th. Somebody brought it up and he addressed it. And when he addressed it, he said that CrossFit gave him the okay to show up 3 days after that stamp date. And he also made a statement in relation to you guys in a story. And in the story, he just basically said he didn't understand why this was all going on. He's of course part of that Icelandic team, and he's in a position where a lot of people are looking at him, and he's trying to make a stand for you guys. It would appear, and it just isn't a good look for CrossFit from many different ways, and especially which is why I keep saying they don't say anything, and you got people like Khan, who is doing something which, in my opinion, goes exactly against the phone call conversation, which is what is the spirit of all of this. And I'm not trying to hate on Khan because he's a good dude doing everything he can. He has the okay from CrossFit. Well, why can he get the okay and you guys can't?
Did you guys check at CrossFit before the season? Andrew brings up a good point. It's interesting. I mean, obviously, he should get a pass for 3 days if he's at Wodapalooza. Yeah. It seems like a no-brainer. Did you guys ever contact CrossFit, pre-Jan 1?
Since we started training before that, even, so me and Viktor, we went to Wodapalooza, but we started training before that, but they were not interested in the evidence, predating the 13th of January. They were interested in the evidence from the 13th of January to May 7th, I think, or May 10th. So we tried to show that we started, they signed up for their gym membership at Nordic, 2021. So we tried to show that we were training before that, but that they said that period wasn't interesting. So for us to just travel for a competition, for us, it was mid-season or in the middle of starting up team training and stuff like that. We did not double check if it was okay for us to be away for those days because we thought that we could still, train regularly and uphold all of the other standards that we needed to uphold. So they signed with the gym ahead. They were active members. They live within the required area. And then we started training as soon as me and Viktor came back from COVID because we all caught it in Miami.
Super spreader.
Yeah, definitely. No, I think that the whole competition was getting COVID because there were so many people there. And yeah, so many people so close by, with the competition going on. It was inevitable to catch it, to be honest.
Yeah, viruses do that. They spread around.
They do.
It's crazy, fascinating. So the deal's over. You guys are going with Rubio, and all we can do is kind of watch the rule book and hope that that HQ learns and makes the adjustments, that there's not these ambiguities. This really just comes down. I mean, from my perspective, it comes down to ambiguousness, but I clearly hear you guys. And I have to say that because I haven't seen the evidence, but you guys are basically saying, no, fuck you. We do have 51% of the days.
Yeah.
We have more than that, because if you need to look at the attendance log as well as individual evidence. So we have much more than that, but we are in a position where we need to prove our proof. I mean, so if you look at every single proof, and then we have a few dates when we don't have have done the check-in, but we have picture proof. And of course we have dates when we didn't take any picture and didn't sign in as well, but I can't really remember what I did 1st of March. So, I mean,
there's also a back entrance for staff where these guys sometimes come in with me because I have the key to the gym. So definitely there are a couple of days in there where we totally forgot to check into the gym because we go in from the back door. But that's never been the discussion, right? The discussion is that in our attendance log, we do have more than these required days and they are not accepting that. And that's where the problem starts, to be honest. We try to show that all of these attendance check-ins are correct. But I think that the problem lies in that they are presuming that we tried to cheat. And that's where we get really sad. That's their, standpoint where they start to do this investigation. We would have been liked to be considered innocent until proven guilty, but that's not the case here.
I wonder what the example they're trying to make of you is. Yeah. Because I keep saying, they don't say anything. So when they do things like kick Annika Greer out for not having her workout in on time, I assume that they're trying to make an example of her. And I wonder what they're trying to say with your disqualification while they're not saying it for the other teams we've mentioned.
Probably that you should not try to create a recently or decently good team by traveling 90 minutes by car and try to compete with the best teams at the games.
Are they saying you should move countries to do it though? Because
if you can afford that, that would be perfect.
Yeah, if you could afford that, but you're trying to afford the gas and geez, it's not cheap to do what you're doing either.
Yeah.
What are they trying to say?
Is there anything else? I really appreciate you guys letting us dig into your brains and understand what on. I'm glad you guys are going. I am really bummed for Viktor. It's so obvious that you guys have put in the hard work and that circumstantially it ended up this way. Viktor, will you try again next year, you think?
I'm trying to maybe convince these two to move to my hometown.
Ah, yes.
If we can afford that, sponsors, contact us.
All right. Well, now we can bring up Travis. Vindicate. Let's put out a shirt. We'll put out a shirt to sponsor him for next year.
Sounds awesome.
Is there anything else you would like to close with, you guys?
No.
I think you guys would want to thank the community for sticking up with us, like for us. I think that it's been very, like, the same community that you get really sad for when CrossFit does it, you get really impressed by when they're sticking up, like, and backing us in this question, and, like, you know, trying to spread the word. And thank you guys for bringing this up and, like, offering us the platform to discuss it, because we all think that CrossFit needs to get better at, you know, communicating the rules. And for us to dare to try again next year, we would want to know that they're going to accept the evidence that they post about in the rule book, because otherwise me and Alex could move to Gävle and they would still not accept it. So we don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
You guys have a great day, and we'll be watching you from afar.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Tell Eric to get his shit together. It's showtime.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Just us, eh?
Just us.
What's the word? What are you thinking?
I just don't envy those people's position at the games, having to deal with that. I don't go to that spot that you go to where it's like, are they trying to set an example? Or I just think that they want to. I think if they're guilty of anything, it's like maybe they got too myopic or too big picture. And here's another thing I want to throw out there. When I work there, I don't even know how they have the manpower to investigate this shit. The games team is not a big team. It's tiny.
What were you able to do as an individual with your time at the games? And did you have people who were helping you out doing whatever it is you had to do?
Well, when I did behind the scenes, I just put together like a ragtag team always of, like, you know, anywhere from 3 to 10 people. But during the games, like the year, like the people who are working in the office, it's like, I mean, outside of like the talking heads, it's 5, 10 people. It's small, dude.
It's not that many.
No, it's small. It's they probably have 2 or 3 or 4 people now doing what Dave used to do. What do you think? What do you think should happen? Just on the limited evidence that we have talking to them, what do you think should happen? You think this is what I think should happen, and I'm totally open to being wrong. I think CrossFit should be like, okay, we have some problems in the rule book. Tie goes to the runner. They should make it, which is those guys, and they should make a statement that says, okay, just so you know, next year we will require a picture with all of you holding each other's genitalia, standing side by side in front of a fucking some Geneva GMT clock, like. You know, and just make it so, you know what I mean? Just learn from this. But I don't think they should be punished.
I feel like I am in a I've always tried to do things in life where it's like you sit there and you try to look left, you look right, you hear both sides of everything, and then you look straight on it and you try not to listen to either side to make your decision.
Right.
And all you got to do is look at what they've given you and say, okay, you guys should be in, but that's with the information that I have heard. I've heard their side. I haven't heard CrossFit's side. Who knows what CrossFit has, because CrossFit doesn't speak on this. So maybe they have something where there's just like absolutely no way that they're going to let this team in. We haven't seen it. To our knowledge, there is nothing like that.
Right.
But with what I know, they should be allowed to play. And what they should also do is next year in the new rule book, you say, okay, this 100-mile thing, clearly that was a bad idea because there's a team that was playing with it per se, but they were playing within the rules. Make it more compact. And then also you should be taking away the Icelandic thing, because
what do you mean more compact? What do you mean more compact?
Maybe within like a 20-30 mile radius. Because I was as we were talking to them, I was trying to think like, how can they fix this in the future in the rule book? And you think of things like you have to be at the most local affiliate, like which one is closest in proximity, and then there's no way of fighting that. But then there's also so many affiliates within so many distances that doesn't make sense. So I understand why they did the 100-mile thing, but I think that that's much too far.
And these things that are so ambiguous, is it as the crow flies? Is it as Google Maps is? It's like I I gotta let CrossFit off the hook. Like, how are they supposed to? It's just
it's their own
How
fault.
are they?
It's their own fault. So why pick on the people for it?
Well, that's what I mean. I want to cut them some slack for it's a learning curve to adjust the rules. But you're also right there. Like, as you learn the rules, give the tie to the runner.
So we brought up baseball earlier, and you understand that baseball's been around for 100+ years, correct?
I didn't know that, but sure. Okay.
All right, it's been around for a long time. And recently they had a lockout, and in the lockout they had like adjustments being made, and they have the Players Association, and then they have MLB, the organization, and they're working back and forth. They have the head of the Players Association talking with the owners of the teams and whatnot. And through that process, they had a lockout because they couldn't come to an agreement on something. And that's 100 years deep, and they're arguing with like salary details and little rules of the game. And it's something that both sides have had a say in. And when they agree, then they go forth with those rules.
Right.
And that's something that I think that the PFAA should be transforming into, is some sort of something where they have to agree with the rules that are being put out by CrossFit. And then this is something, of course, we're only a sport of maybe 20 years in, or a sport of 2018. So 12 to 14 years in. It'll something that like needs to be worked towards.
Right.
Correct. You think? Does that make any sense?
Right. I hate the thought of giving the athletes a bigger voice.
I remember you saying that.
They're such. It's just. Anyway.
And I also know you're not a big fan of like the NBA, MLB, but they are kind of the benchmarks or the way
I agree.
go,
I agree.
and it makes sense.
I agree.
What you said
is smart. You're saying smart shit.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're saying smart shit. I'm just.
So in the next 10 years,
maybe
Fikowski, you're always a little woke every morning. you're wide awake.
I'm trying to be vulnerable to you. Don't attack. I'm trying to be vulnerable.
10 years from now, maybe Fikowski will be the head of everything like this. And there are actually players on the MLB board for the Players Association who are current players. And they're usually the ones who are a little bit older. God, I'm forgetting who they are, but they could be the Fikowskis, but you give him a little bit of a say.
You could have something in the rule book.
The season starts.
You could have something in the rule book too that says, "Hey, when things are ambiguous in general, we didn't do our part in the rule book in general. We were leaned towards the athletes. We will give the benefit of the doubt." They could have that in there because they have the thing in there that says basically, "Hey, just so you know, CrossFit can end up doing whatever it's wants." They have that sole discretion line in there, right? It's up to sole discretion. But you could also have a line in there that's a sweetheart line that says, "Hey, if there is something like this that's ambiguous." You know, the best thing that I think that we dug up in this is that, hey, the season's not over. It says CrossFit affiliates starting no later than the start of the open registration for the current competition season. I mean,
imagine the statement. CrossFit makes statements saying you can compete, but you must move in.
Right.
Like, hey, ball's in your court. That's always a good way to do it too. Put the ball in their court.
Brandon Waddell, Sevan can't take the CFHQ dick out of his mouth. Love you, but it's your biggest flaw not to fully see their negatives.
And that microphone is awfully, long and close to your face all the time. That CrossFit microphone.
Dear Mr. Waddell, I used to be in that house and quite possibly have a perspective that you can't see because you haven't been in that house. I don't know. Fuck me.
I can parlay that with the conversation.
And by the way, I don't suck dick. I sit on dick. Sorry, go ahead. Son of a bitch. Yeah. I give myself 100 burpees. Good. Hope you vomit on yourself. Go ahead.
You were making the behind the scenes thing. You had a team of anywhere from 3 to 10 people doing that with you. And we brought up that there are likely not that many individuals who are looking into the team situation, correct? And on top of I think they should make amends to the rule book. Like right now, allow them in the future, make amends to the rule book. I think that they need a bigger team of people looking into these sorts of things. And just how like there should be a bigger team looking into event 3 of the quarterfinals and filtering the leaderboard. Like you need more people, more manpower to do that. I think that they may need more manpower for the teams qualifying for the semifinals to be looked into.
Charge an extra $1 for the open. Next year it's 20. How much was it this year? $20?
$20 for the open.
Charge 21
for quarters. And last year for me it was $250 for semifinals.
Charge $21. Charge $21 for the open next year. You get an extra $300,000 and you hire 5 people to to do the shit. You know what else is
Full-time
interesting
job.
too? I'm just fully going to speculate here. This is all speculation, but here's another thing that's going on. You have the people who like are the shot callers, the big bosses, right? The Justin Bergs, Adrian Bosmans, the Curtis Bowlers, I don't know if Todd Woodman's over there. You got probably Chuck Carswell. You got like people who are involved at some level in the games team who are like everyone respects as authority. I don't know. I don't know if all of those people I said are full-time games, but they're definitely people that I'd seen Dave turn to in the past. But then you have these other magoofs who are involved in like social media and the media, like Haynes and his girl. And there's now they're being influenced. If like the pressure coming from social media and jugheads like us should not be affecting their decision. But they are.
I don't think it is it?
Oh my God. We're fucking running the show. In the most with peace, love, and humility. Those teams and those people there have so much fucking power. And that's another thing I don't want to hear comments from Weinstein. He's a hammer. That's all he is. He's not there to tell the truth. He's not there to lie. He's there just to put the nail in the ground and smooth it over. That's all he is. So anytime he talks, it's just PR, just garbage. And the people from social media they're the dumbest ones in the room, the media team, because they're looking for consensus. Do you know what I mean by that? They're looking for what's the most popular decision. You know what I mean? Oh, we've offended them. They're getting so loud. The LGBTQs come over here and they want Viktor. They want Viktor out.
So you got to kick them out. That's why you told them to wear the rainbow shirts, right?
Yeah. So it's probably a mess there. And once again, it's probably just a mess. There's just probably so many voices in the room. But if I was HQ, I would just ignore all this shit. I would make a statement about it. I disagree. I like all this stuff that when people were like, hey, how come Rosa hasn't said anything about Dave or why he was fired? I disagree. They don't know shit. I wouldn't want fucking.
They don't owe a shit.
They don't know. I wouldn't want someone from HQ making a statement why I got fired. Fuck you. I'll sue the fuck out of you.
Oh, is that the deal? It's a legal bit issue.
I don't know, but say my name like fucking sideways. Talk any shit about me, and I'm
but what if it was truthful? They're saying the truth. That's what I'm saying. Like, just come out with
they can't tell the truth.
That was true.
That's our job. They can't tell the truth.
That's why everyone's so pissed off all the time, because they never tell us anything truthful. Like if they fired you and all they said was truthful things, you've got no reason to come at them.
But I have would you want one of your members, one of your clients, after you parted ways, to publicly say why he left you?
Sure.
You do? Okay. All right.
I mean, if I gave him reason to get all pissy, like let's say I was doing inappropriate things, it's like, sure, I have every right to be thrown under the bus.
I don't think that's the employer's job to tell the world. I know we're in a unique situation with CrossFit because it is such a community, but I don't think it's the employer's job or ethically correct to open.
We're getting a little bit deep. So like in that situation, it's like if that person wants to go out and say some shit, they have every right to say it. In the situation between me and a potential client, and like if. However,
what if Rosa said, "Hey, we fired Dave because he was hitting on my wife"? Like, you think that should come out?
No, I don't think that should come out. But we're also now going from the aspect that is Team Nordic and getting into why they're firing possibly Dave Castro.
Right.
And
but I don't think that they should respond to what they're doing with Team Nordic. I don't think that they should respond to people like us or address the issue at all. They've made the decision. It is what it is.
You're saying that you are entirely paralleled.
I guess.
So I would say that, like,
you disagree.
An individual in their personal life, I could see why you would say they're entirely paralleled. Like, sure, if they never want to say anything ever, that's fine. But they need to understand that them saying nothing is the reason everyone's so pissed off all the time.
but maybe we're just in our own echo chamber. Like look what Trump did.
You just said we weren't. Do you realize that you just said that we are causing their decisions?
Well, that's what I mean. I agree. Are we in an
echo chamber, or which one are you saying?
Well, they're in it too. They're in it too, is what I'm saying.
They're stuck in our echo chamber.
Yeah, they're in it too. They shouldn't listen to the noise. All they have to do is they have to like understand what they did wrong and make the change. And we'll all see it in the rule book. They don't need to comment on it. They don't need to. I mean, what they do need to comment on is if a storm came and destroyed the stadium at Madison and they had to move the event. That's what they need to comment on. If at the L1 they were adding a nutrition seminar, that's what they should tell us about. If they said that the games this year is going to be 17 events instead of 15 events for the first time, that's what they need to tell us about. If they say that, hey, we're going to be forced you to wear this clothing at the games, that's what they need to tell us. I just don't think that they need to address the drama. I wouldn't if I were them. I would ignore all that.
I have another parallel to the MLB if you want it.
Please.
You know who Trevor Bauer is? I bet you don't.
No.
Very high level pitcher. He won like the Cy Young, which is the best pitcher of the year. And then it came out that he was abusing females. This is like right in your wheelhouse, actually. not the abusing females, but the fact that he was doing some like dirty stuff with them. And they took it as abuse and they came after him. And the law found that he was innocent. And the MLB gave him a 2-year ban.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
And the MLB didn't say why they gave him a 2-year ban, but they're about to go through a court hearing to see if they can really take off his MLB ban so that he can play again, earn a living, make money. Yeah. But the law said innocent, the MLB said guilty, and I guess we don't know why because the MLB hasn't said anything. And in this case, the CrossFit isn't saying anything, but we potentially, the law of CrossFit, are finding them innocent.
I don't even think if he was found guilty, me personally, even if he was found guilty, I don't understand what that has to do with the sport. Like, if you don't want him, if you own your baseball team and you don't want rapists on your team, fucking kudos to you. What a great line to draw in the sand. But if it's your team, but this bullshit, like to blur that guy who was like the greatest football coach of all time, but he also diddled little boys.
Sandusky.
And they pulled off like 300 of his wins because he diddled boys. Fucking idiocy, woke idiocy.
Yeah, he should still burn in hell, though.
Sure. And taking his statue down, more bullshit. Just right on there. He diddled boys during games 1984 to 2012. They got a fucking statue of George Floyd in fucking New York sitting on a park bench as a fucking hero after he put a gun to a fucking pregnant woman's fucking stomach. Driving the streets of fucking Ferguson or wherever the fuck he is, high on fentanyl, meth, and alcohol. What if my 3 little boys are riding? What? Say it again.
What kind of statue is it? Is it big? Is it a park bench? What does it look like?
It's small. It's like life size. It's like you could sit down next to him and take a picture. On my Instagram, I had someone doctor a pregnant woman standing in front of him with made of the same stone with a gun pointed at her stomach, and I posted.
Oh man,
it's
no
just
wonder
nuts.
your shadow banned.
Yeah, it's nuts. This world we live in. Anyway, I'm glad to hear their story. It was nice to hear their story. I like helping them. I just don't have a strong opinion. I don't know what to say to them.
I just really wish that one of these days I'm going to make a video like this. And I made the one on Morgan in the adaptive division, the neuromuscular female. She's competing currently and is continuing her season. And I guess that would be the closest thing that I've made to a video where then it seems to have done something. I don't know for sure because we'll never know for sure. But I'm always hoping that something changes in the right direction when we're doing stuff like this.
Did that video just come out?
No, it was maybe a month and a half or 2 ago. It was before you liked me. You were still afraid.
My afraid stage.
The afraid stage. Those are the good old days.
My afraid stage. I always need one person.
But yeah, the story there was that she was being ratted out on to CrossFit, how she wasn't a adaptive person. She's got Tourette's syndrome.
Oh, shit. That's a great story. She wow.
So it's down a little bit. What's it called?
I should be in the adaptive category.
I believe it's blue, the cover, and I know it's at Morgan Johnson. I just don't remember what the title of it is because I make them up in 2 seconds.
God, you're prolific.
What does that mean?
You make a lot of stuff.
A video a day. But anyway, she's continued to compete. And again, in the rule book, it was just a little bit abstract. And what had happened is there was someone on CrossFit's end who reached out to her saying that she could sign up for the adaptive division and then she could also continue her season. And it was only once she had qualified for the next stage, it's down even further, probably 3 pages.
I'm just looking at how good your numbers are and just kind of like, and I'm looking how many subscribers you have and like you're just seething, but pretending like I'm happy for you.
I get so nervous putting out video. So I have a 13 and 18 and a 13K view in a row, and I'm going to put mine out today. And I'm like, I'm going to ruin my streak. It's such a good streak of video viewage.
Yeah. Hey, how come that the Masters one only gets 3K? I thought Masters videos killed.
Yeah, that one. It's because it says minor fuck up. It wasn't a major fuck up, and it was really minor. The competitions are back to back, and they on one page put the standards, and on the document they put the list for the following week of the weights and everything. So it wasn't a huge deal. And if I'm being entirely honest, there was a lot of stuff we did that day, and I just kind of grabbed it, and I was like, you know what, this isn't the biggest deal, so I'm not upset about that one. Not doing too hot.
You're okay. You give yourself a pass. I don't even know what this means. You should be Sevan. I should be what?
You should be shadow banned.
Yeah. Joe Paterno was not the. I did that. I apologize, but I
said Sandusky.
Okay.
It was Jerry Sandusky. Is he still alive?
I think both those guys died of stress. And I like to call it the Sandusky. Oh, that kid got Sandusky'd.
Oh no.
I know.
That doesn't seem like something that you should say.
No, probably not. No one makes.
What's our plan for this weekend? What are we doing? What do we got?
Oh, that's a great question. That's a great question. You know who I invited?
I invited show.
So I'm going to try to allure a couple new people. Man, James Townsend was popular.
Oh yeah.
People were going nuts when he came on. But maybe I would love it if we could get Ben Smith on. I've never had him on my show.
He freaking was talking about you.
I posted it, but in that post, he's kind of like, he says it like, yeah, I liked what Sevan said, but like that's the only thing I've ever said he liked. But either way, like we could still get along on a show reviewing the semifinals. But here's what I think is going to happen. We're supposed to do a pre-show tonight. It's not calendared. No one's talked about it, but unfortunately I have to take my kid to tennis, and it's pizza night at tennis. So I'm not sure what's going to happen. So stay close to your phone, look at that thread, but for sure, starting early tomorrow morning, we're going to start going hard in the paint. So anyone who wants to hear the semifinals covered by the best team in the biz, stay close. What about Angelo? He didn't get Sandusky, not that I know of.
I think he's asking if he'll be on the show, because we talked about Townsend and Ben Smith. Will Angelo be on the show?
Look, a typo. It says this show would be 10 times better with Ben Smith. You mean 100 times better? Come on, 100 times better.
Ben Smith, really. I listened to everything he's put out recently, and just about every sentence is on point with everything going on today. It's just so good, and it's so unfortunate that he doesn't have a bigger voice.
Well, you know what's happening too is you jerked him off in that video. You've been jerking him off a little bit, and it's everyone wants a piece now. People like me are like, oh, if Hiller likes him, I have to get him.
Ben Smith's the man, and
we're all influenced by you. We're all influenced by you.
I don't know why. I know why. Here and I scream at the computer. But anyway, he in 2015 he won the games, and he's one of the longest tenured CrossFit Games athletes, if not the most long. He's been doing it since 2009, right? Do you have any idea? He's been at the games
since forever.
Every year.
Yeah. I believe he's been at the ranch. Yeah.
You would think he would be like the poster of poster children for CrossFit. And you think that if anyone should be on the PFAA, it would be somebody like him, because he has the most insight about it. He was the guy who worked out in his garage in front of the fridge. And the other day I was sitting on the couch with Alexis, and she was on the phone with somebody, and they hadn't spoken in a while. They go, what has Andrew been up to? Like, he's just making all these videos. And Alexis goes, yeah, I kind of feel bad for people who just wander into CrossFit. They open up an Andrew Hiller video, and I'm just screaming about everything that's going wrong.
Yeah.
Because that could be some people's first insight into it. And believe it or not, what I'm trying to do is work away from that, because I want everyone's first insight to be something like, look at Ben Smith working out in front of his fridge.
Right.
Because that was so cool. Yes, and like the road to the game stuff. Were you talking to someone the other day where they said that the first thing they saw was the road to the games video? I think you were. And that was what got them into CrossFit, because they thought that was so cool. Yep. I don't remember who you were talking to.
You guys stop giving me credit for that video. Yes, I was probably the executive producer of all of them, but Heber and Mars are
all right. Well, I'm not giving you credit. The individual gave you credit.
Yeah. Heber and Mars are beasts.
All right, but anyway,
along that line, I trip.
My shit.
Along the line, I trip on this too. If you were born, there's people who were born the year Obama was elected, and they had a president for 8 years. The first 8 years of their life was a black guy, and now they're in an era where like the thing is that like just to we're in this kind of like racial swarm of just insanity. People just saying the dumbest shit. I wonder if those people are going to grow up and be like, dude, what are you talking about? We had a black president for the first 8 years of my life. But I guess now we have kids who've worn a mask the first 3 years of their life. Holy shit. And then if you come to CrossFit, you're triply fucked because you see Andrew, you don't know CrossFit before Andrew Hiller. What a mess.
The parallels that you draw, man, are just, that's what brings people into the comment section. I never thought about that.
Are you pre-Andrew Hiller or post-Andrew Hiller? It used to be, are you?
PA. I am the PFAA.
Guys, at 11 o'clock, I'm going to have David Lucas on, I hope. If you don't know who he is one of the funniest men alive right now. He is the roast master. He just destroys people on Kill Tony. He's dear friends with Joe Rogan. And one of the things we're going to talk about is Joe Rogan recently put up a challenge with him versus Red Band to lose 60 pounds. No, Zane, fucking 50 burpees, dude. Do not say that on here. My mom cannot see that. David Lucas he's Joe Rogan's put up $100,000 to see who's going to lose the most weight in the next 4 months. I think that's the challenge. I'm going to talk to him about that. I'm going to try to talk him into doing California hormones, at least getting his blood work done so he can definitely whoop ass at that competition. And I'm going to try to make it so he doesn't rip on me during the show. Pre-Hiller. You're pre-Hiller. Man,
oh yeah.
Can I
erase?
Jeffrey. How can I erase what Zane wrote so it's not? No. Damn.
No.
I can't.
You don't want to filter your media. It'll be like the CrossFit Games freaking chat where they're just eliminating comments.
I just want my mom to love me. That's it.
By the way, that's the closest I've gotten to talking to anybody at CrossFit is the moderator for the CrossFit Games YouTube channel chatting with me.
Oh yeah.
Directing me to certain spots to hear information that doesn't matter.
I wonder if it doesn't matter. I wonder if that was Haynes or the girl.
You know better than I would. It could be nobody.
I think she runs the show over there. I think she wears the pants.
Interesting.
Oh, thank you, Bruce.
Bill,
Bruce, go. You and Zane go get a cup of coffee. Explain to Zane the world. Love you guys.
Didn't you want to be Joe Rogan?
I do.